Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Barber, and I'm with the SCT Marketing Department, and we're so glad that you've taken the time this morning to join us for this webinar. We hope that you find the next 30 to 45 minutes worth your time. Just a few housekeeping items. All participants on the call this morning are muted, and that's just so that we can facilitate a good, clean call and we don't have a bunch of background noise. But if you would like to ask a question, and we encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar, you can do so by clicking on the orange arrow on the panel on the right hand of your screen, and you can enter a question via the question pane. So please feel free to ask as many questions throughout the webinar. We'll pause frequently to try to answer those questions, as well as at the end. For those of you who may have had any trouble with the GoToWebinar link, we've also sent an email out this morning with the deck so that you can download it and follow along throughout the call. If you do have any questions after the call is over, you can feel free to contact me directly. My contact information will be available at the end of the presentation, so you can always reach out to me. And we'll also be sending out some leave behind documents after this call is over. So it will include the recording of the webinar, as well as some best practices and the presentation. So everything you'll need will be included in that email. So don't feel like you have to take any frivolous notes right now. We're going to follow up with all of those materials. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to David Kelly. David Kelly is part of our field marketing team at 22 Squared, which is our agency, and he has extensive knowledge and experience in both retail and regional marketing, especially parts and service. So with that, I hand it over to David.
Thank you, Sarah, and good morning. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Today's webinar is going to be very similar to what we shared with the sales teams and your sales groups in the past, but we felt that after the marketing meetings for parts and service, this would be a great opportunity to share with all of you a fantastic tool for service retention and for reaching your customers. Before we get deep into some of the paid tactics within Facebook, I'd like to share with you just a real quick snapshot of what SCT is doing with regards to Facebook and your individual dealerships. For about 1.5 years to 2 years now, SCT has been supporting the Facebook program throughout the region, in which they help build audiences individually for each of your stores through paid media. And then in addition to that, they are continuing to post content to the dealership pages and promoting those posts. So with that being said, there's been a great deal of support from SCT Marketing from both a Tier 2 and a Tier 3 level. What you'll find is that there are a number of posts that are being put on your Facebook page today, and we've included a calendar that shows you the kind of posting that is taking place. It is really important from a parts and service standpoint that you guys reach out to whoever is handling your Facebook page in the dealerships and make sure that they're posting content relating to parts and service. If you think about the fact that parts and service handles and touches the customers with far more frequency than the sales side of the house, Facebook lends itself as a great platform to continue that communication, to share reasons why consumers should service with you. And it's really simple as just putting a post of frequently asked questions, maybe why service here, positioning statements, featuring service techs of the month or service customers of the month. All of this content can fit into your Facebook page all throughout the month and engage consumers. In addition to that, there's no reason why you shouldn't be posting any kind of coupons and offers on your Facebook page. It's a great way to remind customers of the offers that you have. So you'll see that we have the content calendar. The quantity of posts will likely be changing, and we're looking to have the dealerships themselves post more frequently. The amount of money that SCT is putting behind the posts that they're going to be promoting is going to remain the same, but there'll be a great deal of opportunity for the individual dealerships to post content on their own. So again, I reiterate, it's really important that all of the parts and service managers on the call find out in the dealership who's posting content to the Facebook page today, sit down and create a similar content calendar for your dealership and make sure that parts and service related posts are included in that calendar. One other thing to note is that looking at the list of attendees, the vast majority of you guys have digital agencies or an ad agency in place. I would strongly encourage all of you to meet with your agencies that the dealership is utilizing, determine what role they play in Facebook, and they can be an enormous resource for you, and not only posting, but in some of the paid media options that we're going to discuss here throughout this call. As Sarah mentioned earlier, there is a question panel on your GoToWebinar control panel. Please make sure if you have any questions throughout the call, we will be addressing them. We encourage that you post a question, and then as soon as we have a moment to break, we'll answer any questions that we get. So Facebook in itself, we realize, is just a larger part of your marketing mix in the dealership. So this isn't a medium that we're expecting the bulk of the dollars to be spent. And honestly, it doesn't require a great deal of money to be spent to reach a very targeted audience on Facebook. So while I'm going to encourage you to consider spending money and reaching audiences throughout Facebook, clearly direct mail, search, television, all remain very important mediums, but Facebook is one that you should be considering adding to the mix. Why would you consider paid Facebook? Well, frankly, the reach that you can get on Facebook is quite large. In addition to a large reach of consumers, it's all people-based. As you set up your Facebook page, you're encouraged to include information such as email address, employment, all great ways for people to be able to find you on Facebook. Is also a great way for advertisers to find you on Facebook. So really it is a people-based, almost a one-on-one type of a marketing relationship. And we also know that consumers spend a great deal of time on Facebook. In fact, it's one of the top times spent on all of the internet. And one of the top most successful tactics in advertising is to reach people where they're spending the most amount of time. So a great reach, it's all people-based, it's one-to-one, and it's where the consumers are spending the most amount of time. So 3 great reasons to consider utilizing Facebook paid advertising. That being said, as we begin to go through individual examples and individual case studies, I want to let you know of a great resource that you should look into as you're starting this endeavor. In addition to your agencies and your digital companies, Facebook has facebook.com/blueprint, and Blueprint is a great how-to tool, in addition to the fact that if you spend a minimum of $25 a day with Facebook, you will get a live representative to help you set up your campaigns. So while it's one of those where if you're going to do it on your own, it's fairly easy to set up. It's great to have a resource within Facebook to help you fix your campaigns and improve your performance. But there are a number of modules within this blueprint that will help you learn all of the information, throughout your building your campaign. So a couple of case studies for you. Both of these case studies involve a service component, so we wanted to share those with you. Both dealerships did use the service component to parlay into new vehicle sales, but the first one is through Paragon Honda, which is a dealership based in New York, and they used what they call Facebook custom audiences. So Facebook custom audiences is something that we're going to get into in depth here shortly, but essentially they were able to create a ad for customers that were within their database or customers that owned vehicles in their PMA, in their immediate backyard, and they created an oil change coupon to drive new vehicle replacement opportunities. So essentially a very aggressive oil change coupon, and then customers would come in and then they'd have the conversation with them about trading in and trading up. They had a redemption rate of nearly 50% of the coupons that were redeemed, which is about an 80% savings over direct marketing. And as they determined how many cars they sold off the program, it averaged about $79 per car. So clearly a very cost-effective and cost-efficient campaign. The second one, which is something that I would see a number of the stores doing throughout Southeast Toyota, simply because of some of the dense populations that we have throughout some of the major metros, and then also the need to focus on certain zip codes within our PMA. This dealership in Chicago promoted their customer retention program. So they had a great program that talked about why you should service with them and all the advantages of buying a car from Castle Chevrolet. So a why buy here and a why service here program. What they did was they targeted prospects within a very small radius of the dealership in which they wanted to just drive awareness of their Castle difference. The campaign drove over 2,200 clicks to their website. It cost about 98 cents per click, and they were able to determine that they sold 23 vehicles off of the campaign. So as you can see, for just about $2,000, they were able to get great traffic to their website. But more importantly, because you're paying at a cost per click model, the impressions that they received were still much greater than the 2,200 that clicked through. Based on some of the averages, they probably got upwards to 200,000 impressions based on that click-through rate. So based on the number of clicks and the clicks that they got. So I would strongly encourage you to think about ways of how to promote the services that you do within the dealership, the parts that you may want to sell through the dealership and become a resource and authority on all those products. And then what will happen is Facebook provides a number of different ways to reach those audiences. And that's what we want to talk about now. So first and foremost, you have to determine what your goal is. For example, do you want to just create awareness? Do you want to drive site traffic, just like the two examples we just showed? Who are you trying to reach, whether it's potential service customers, potential car buyers, current owners, whatever it might be? And then how much money do you have that you want to allocate to this? Once that's done, you then can create and select a custom Facebook plan. We'll go ahead and talk about each of those Facebook plans. Before we get into talking about the areas of focus, I've got one question here, Anthony Sullivan. How do we get a copy of the Facebook marketing calendar? That's a great question. All of the posted content calendars are available on SET AdBook. AdBook is accessible through your Dealer Daily login. Generally, most of the general managers and most general sales managers have access to AdBook through their Dealer Daily login. If you're unable to get a copy of it through AdBook, you'll have my email address at the end of this presentation. Feel free to email me, and I'll get you a copy of the calendar. Another question from Juan Ramos was if we can clarify for the audience what an impression is. It's a great question, Juan. An impression means how many times your ad was seen. So there's impressions, and then there's clicks. Impressions means your ad was served to a certain individual, and that individual saw the ad on the screen. The click is obviously someone who engaged with your ad and clicked through to wherever you sent them. That's a great question, Juan, and thank you. The next slide is going to share with you 3 areas of focus. First area of focus is going to be website remarketing. The second area is going to be local awareness. And the third topic we're going to talk about is how to reach existing owners through Facebook. All three of these are extremely effective ways of reaching an audience through Facebook. We wanted to share with you these three. There are a number of others through Facebook, but these three are probably are going to be your most used areas of focus as you build your campaigns. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the first area of focus, website remarketing. Most stores are doing website remarketing on the new car side, and used car side. This is when a customer has visited your website for either sales or service, and now you're going to follow them while they're in Facebook with ads reminding them why they should service or what the offer it is that they were looking at on your website. So I've got an example of how that works. I was spending time trying to find soccer uniforms for my son's soccer team and looked at a number of different websites, one including epicsports.com. After I did that, I was on Facebook a few hours later, and this ad appeared in my newsfeed. Obviously, the website was doing website remarketing. They were putting a pixel on my computer, following me into the Facebook area, and served me an ad of uniforms that I was looking at an hour earlier. What they're trying to do is trying to get me to like their page so I continue to engage with their business. Another tactic they could have done was, order yours now, and drove me back to the uniforms I was looking at on the website. But there's a lot of great tactics, but as you can see, this is extremely effective because this is something that I was actively researching and I did not buy, and they're just assuming that I'm still researching, so therefore I'm able to go ahead and continue to engage with the company. Of all the websites that I visited for soccer uniforms, this is the only one that continued to follow me throughout my web experience. So this is a great tactic because we know consumers only spend a small portion of their time on your website, and then they're going to go to Facebook, they're going to go to different news websites, they're going to go elsewhere, but while they're on Facebook, here's an opportunity for you to follow. And I'm sure many of you have experienced this in your own web surfing time. So let's take a quick look at how we go about starting to get your ads in consumers' Facebook feeds after they visited your website. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log into the Facebook account that manages the dealership's Facebook page. So in this case, this is my Facebook. This is me. I help with I actually have access to Mike Johnson's Hickory Toyota's Facebook page. And because of that, I have an option that says create ad on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. This is going to be where you're going to start creating your ads on all the tactics we talk about today. So again, find out who manages the Facebook page or speak with the agencies that you have in place, and you'll be able to then get access and create ads or work with them on creating ads. So we're going to show you the simple steps. You've just clicked on the create ad. The next step is going to be to tell Facebook what you would like to do in your campaign. You could promote your Facebook page, you could boost a post, whatever it might be. But in this example, we want to send people to your website. We want to drive traffic back to the pages that the consumer was looking at before. So you're going to put the website address into the box and click continue. The next step is going to help you create the new custom audience. Again, we want to create an audience of customers who are visiting your dealership website, so we need to tell Facebook these are the individuals that we want to reach on this campaign. So you're going to click create new custom audience, and what you're going to do is you're going to choose customer list. I'm sorry, you're going to actually choose website traffic in this case. So the customer list that you're creating is for website traffic. So once you click on website traffic, it is then going to ask you how far back do you want to go when doing this campaign. So you can designate anyone who visits your website, whether it's the last 30 days, the last 60 days. If this is a new car conversation, I would suggest 30 to 45 days. For the fact that we're talking about parts and service, and we know that research within parts and service is more of an immediate need, I would suggest at least the last 30 days. And then you're going to create a name for that audience. So this could be something that would be, website visitors, website service visitors, whatever you want to do, and then you're going to create that specific audience and customer list. Once you hit create audience after you've named it, it's going to say thank you for creating a custom audience, and they're going to email you a pixel code. This is where it gets very technical, but very easy to do. You're going to send this code to your website provider or your agency, and both of them will be able to insert this code onto your website, this pixel onto your website, so that anytime from that point forward, when a customer visits your website, you are building that list within Facebook to serve them an ad. So a very simple logic of how it works, but you will need the assistance of your website provider or your digital agency to help you with this. Don't get overwhelmed, because it does seem like it gets very technical on this example, but once this is set up and once you've then created your creative to reach those customers, it is a very effective way to follow the customers. Before we jump into the next area of focus, one quick clarification in the comments or questions on the panel here is that if you want to get access to AdBook for your dealership, you can contact your SET Dealer Daily admin within the dealership. They can then add AdBook access to your Dealer Daily. So if you're looking for that content calendar we talked about earlier and you don't have Dealer Daily, your Dealer Daily admin within the dealership can add your access. So thank you for that, Juan. Number 2 area of focus is local awareness. So essentially this goes back to that Castle Chevrolet example we talked about earlier, where you have an area that you want to focus on, that you want to target to reach service customers. This is a great way to reach that right customer with the right message at the right time. You're not looking to broadcast a message that might reach somebody who's 30 and 40 and 50 miles away. We know service customers are more likely to be in your immediate backyard. So these are the people that you're going to want to focus on when doing a local awareness type campaign. So we're going to start back at step 1, which again is the Newsfeed, which is the home page of Facebook. So when you log in to Facebook and you have that create ad option, you're going to select it. Now your objective is going to be get people to claim your offer. So we're going to create a coupon that's going to go onto Facebook that consumers are going to be able to click on and get the offer and come into your dealership and redeem that offer. One thing that's great to note is you're going to be able to track all the redemptions. So you'll be able to control and maintain how much of your coupons that you'll be sending out. So click on get people to claim your offer. Then what you're going to do is you're going to want to select your dealership page and then select the offer that you're specifically going to be driving consumers to. So in this case, we're going to create a new offer. You can have a bank of offers that already exist once you've built them, but we're going to create a new offer by clicking on that plus symbol right next to the no eligible post exists. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and select the creative. So what happens is you're going to build your ad on the right-hand side of this screen. So the title, which you'll see falls just below the photo, is oil change for $29.95. You're going to describe the coupon, or give some kind of catchy headline. Treat your Toyota well and it will return the favor. Download the coupon and save. One thing that's really important to note is that Facebook has a rule as to how many words can be in your offer and your coupon, and then how big the image should be. Essentially, the best practice is the bigger the image, the more likelihood a consumer is going to stop and engage with it. Facebook realizes that. So as you're typing in your title or description, if you're passing that that amount of copy that they suggest, you will get a warning underneath the box. So if your description is getting too wordy, you'll get a warning underneath the box. In addition to that, there'll be in the email that you receive after the webinar, you'll see a tool that helps you as you're building it to let you know if you've received or if you've gone beyond the limit of too much ad copy. So after you've created the title and the description, you're going to want to upload the image that's specific to your offer. So there's a couple things to think about here. One is you can either, go out and shoot imagery of your service department, of maybe a vehicle up on a lift, something that's going to be eye-catching and relating to the service area. There's also images available in Ad Planner. Your agency will definitely have access to Ad Planner. This is probably the part that most people are going to get maybe hung up on, is because you're going to want the picture that matches your dealership or matches the ad as much as possible. So I would really encourage you guys to build up a number of images that will relate back to the offer. So in the case here, this image was created for the $29.95 oil change offer. So work with your agencies, grab a couple of images throughout the dealership, take some pictures, and then go ahead and give yourself the presence, for a very good, what we call thumb stopping. Get that individual to stop scrolling past your offer on their iPhone and engage with your coupon. What's going to happen then is you're going to create, in step 6, the details regarding your offer. So you're going to set an expiration date. You're going to set that limit, like I mentioned earlier. If you don't want 100,000 coupons going out the door, which would be a great problem to have, but maybe you want to limit yourself financially, or any kind of financial exposure, then you can go ahead and do that. You can specify a certain start date, and then you could specify the actual audience. So that's what we're going to take a look at next, is designating the audience. So I would suggest in this case, we're focusing on local awareness. So when you click on by city, it allows you then to start drilling into certain zip codes. So this is a great way to build the audience based on a geography. So you're going to click on by city, and then you're going to drill down to specific audiences or specific zip codes. And what will happen is you'll continue to get a monitor that shows you how many people this ad is potentially going to reach. Once you've done all of this and you've built that audience, you're now able to just hit create offer. And if you've said to have that offer start immediately, that offer will run at that moment. There's very little delay to getting that offer to run. Now, I will tell you, to make sure that you may think that you should see the offer on your Facebook page yourself, there's a good likelihood you will, but if it doesn't meet all the criteria of in this example, how many offers are being claimed. So you'll be able to see how much audience and see how many coupons are getting redeemed. So now we've got an offer out on Facebook. We're out there showcasing our offers. Before we jump into the third area of focus, we had a great question from Janelle, is regarding monthly spend for retargeting ads. Obviously, your monthly spend for retargeting ads is going to fluctuate based on the number of people who visit your website and the number of times you'd like them to see your ad. We see retargeting budgets on Facebook as low as $200 to $300 and getting pretty productive returns. Or, in some cases, dealers want to be extremely aggressive and they want their ad to be in front of them a lot more often. They're going to raise the budget upwards to $1,000. But I will tell you that you're only paying on a cost per click model. So, usually $300 to $500 should be sufficient for a budget within Facebook. Another question that was just received was, would you recommend to add a video instead of a picture? That's a great question. And depending upon your message and depending upon what you're trying to promote, if it's a coupon or an offer, an image that includes the coupon or offer often works best. If you're trying to create awareness, if you're trying to create some form of a wide service here message, then video is a fantastic way of going about doing that. I will share with you on the next example of ways to include video in your offer. But yes, that's a great question. Video is a great way of reaching the audience. As the consumer is thumbing through their page, you will say that you will see that motion on the page will help them stop and look at your ad just that much more. One more question before we roll into step number 3. Matt, the budget for retargeting is going to range from anywhere to $300 to $500. Could go upwards to $1,000. The reason why it's hard to specify exactly for your store is all based on how many people visit your dealership's website. If your dealership website only gets 10,000 visitors, it's going to obviously cost less to retarget than a website that's getting 40,000 visitors. And then the other factor is how often you want that consumer to see your ad. So if you want them to see it 1 or 2 times, or if you want them to see it 5 or 6 times to hopefully get some reaction out of them, then it's going to cost you more. But again, keep in mind that much of this is based on a cost per click model. So you might designate $500, but it's only going to spend $300, $200. But you will get reporting, virtually lifetime reporting through Facebook, letting you know how well your budget's going and if you need to add more or if you have more than enough budgeted on a daily basis. So some great questions, guys. I love it. So now we're going to jump into the third area of focus, and this is the last area of focus we're going to talk about today. But honestly, to me, this is one of the best areas of focus for your dealership. Essentially, right now, you are going to get you're going to reach customers that are in your database, or these are people that have raised their hand to potentially do business with you. And then you can actually build out this list by asking Facebook to take a look at your own customers and then add folks who look just like them. People that have very similar interests, very similar geographies, very similar demographics, whatever it might be. But this is essentially your database. I like to look at this as your direct mail being built into Facebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through exactly how to do this, but this is the advanced targeting tactics for Facebook. And, essentially there's 3 ways of reaching customers on an advanced level. We talk about custom audiences. That's what we're going to dig a little bit deeper into here in a moment, but these are targeting current customers by uploading a contact list. The second one is the lookalike. Essentially, these are the people, here are my customers. Go find people who look just like them. Similar page fans, customer lists, whatever it might be. And then the third advanced targeting we covered initially, which is the retargeting. That's your custom audiences from your website. So let's build an ad and let's take the steps to go ahead and reach consumers who are in your database. So again, click on select ads on your newsfeed. You're going to create ads on your from your newsfeed. The next step is you're going to determine if you want to send people to your website. So in this case, think about maybe you want to send people to your scheduler, to your actual service scheduler on your website, and maybe you want to send them to your coupons on your website, whatever it might be. So what you want to do is you want to send people to your website. You want to put the website address in that is specific to the page that you want to send them to. So if you're talking about scheduling service, then you make sure that you put the website address or the URL of your service scheduler in here. One other really important thing to note is that most consumers use Facebook in the mobile arena. So make sure that the website address that you're putting in works on your mobile website. Most dealerships are now on a responsive or adaptive website, so it should work on desktop or mobile, but make sure that it works, because if a consumer clicks on your ad, you've just paid to get that consumer to your website, but if it doesn't work on the mobile, then you've wasted that click. So just make sure you're inspecting where you're sending the customer. So step 3 is creating the new custom audience. So again, we're just going to go in and create a new audience. What we're doing now is we're going to click on a customer list. So we're telling Facebook that we want you to match the email, the phone number, the names, whatever it might be that's in your list that you're uploading to Facebook. So Facebook is going to look at the emails and the phone numbers and the names, and they're going to go ahead and match those to users on Facebook. It's never going to be a 100% match, but I will tell you that it's going to be somewhere between 50 and 70% match of the consumers. So if you upload 10,000 people on your list, then you're going to find that it's going to match probably 6,000 to 7,000 people. Never a one-to-one. The reason for that is, for example, I do not use my email address for work to log into Facebook. I use a personal email address, but I've likely given the dealership my work email address because I want to see the communications. So if your emails don't match, then Facebook doesn't know that that's the same person in the list. So the next step is you're going to click upload that file. So you've created a file, you've gone into your database, you've gone into your CRM, and you've created a custom file, and you're going to go ahead and upload that. So the next step is I've got an example on the screen of a list that I've created that is going to be an Excel or a CSV file of 2004 to 2008 Camry owners. So potentially you want to do a special oil change offer, or you've got something unique that you want to try and drive more customers of a certain vehicle to your dealership, with maybe the intention that there's also a buyback type offer, or it's a certain type of a product that you want to move out of the service lane. But the next step shows that you're just going to simply drag that file into Facebook and tell Facebook, this is who I want to reach. This is a secure upload. You do not need to worry about, so it's a CSV or a .txt format that you're uploading. And what's happening is Facebook is securely uploading that to their database to then figure out where the matches are from your list to Facebook users. And then step 7, if that list itself isn't as large as you want it to be, you can then also add maybe certain geography to your audience. So say you want your own users plus a certain geography in your backyard. Facebook will then go and you want to specify that you want people in Atlanta plus 10 miles, age 18 to 35, both men and women. If maybe you have a special offer that you want to send to just Spanish-speaking customers or all English-speaking customers. So as you see on the right-hand side, what happens is Facebook is telling you that your audience is pretty well defined, that you're looking at Atlanta plus 10 miles, 18 to 35, and that your potential reach right now is 1.1 million people. That dial that's up top, if it stays in the green, that's a pretty defined audience. If it gets into the red, you may have limited your audience just a little bit too much, that you're not going to get a good amount of exposure. And if it's in the yellow, it's pretty broad, and you're going to get more impressions than I think you care to get. You want to be somewhere in that green to give yourself the idea that you're going to get a pretty good exposure. you're not going to get, you're not going to be too specific or too broad. Now what happens is, the next step is you're going to set your daily budget. And this is where, you know, you can protect yourself. And if you only want to spend $5 a day, on the right-hand side, it's going to tell you that of that audience you defined earlier, you're going to reach up to potentially 2,800 people with this budget. If you add, you know, another $5, it's going to take it up into the next level. If you're going to add $15, $20, whatever it might be, it'll show you your estimated daily reach for your campaign. And then you add your name. So now you've said, okay, here's the audience I'm going after. I'm going to name this campaign. And then you've built your creative already. So what's going to happen, and this goes back to Juan's question earlier, is can you do an image, or if you have video available, you could select the first one. The second option that's there on the screen is very intriguing to me for parts and service, because if you want to do a battery offer, or if you want to showcase a tires offer and wipers offer, or maybe, you know, whatever products you're trying to push, then what you could do is you could put multiple images into one ad, and the customer can scroll through and select which one pertains to them the most. Now you're going to go ahead and go through and do the same thing about if you're creating multiple image ads, you're going to select your images, or you're going to upload your video, all step by step. And then the second to last step in this one shows you, you're going to preview your ad as you go through. So on the left-hand side, it's showing you that, you know, what your headline and what your text looks like. The second to last thing on the left-hand side is the call to action button. So that allows you to select either to learn more, you know, get yours now, schedule now. There's a lot of preset call to action buttons. And those call to action buttons look just like that like page in the upper right-hand corner. But the right-hand side gives you the opportunity to preview what your ad looks like. So in this case, it's showing you the preview of what it looks like on the desktop. The one right below that will show you what it looks like on mobile and what it may look like on the right-hand column, just to kind of give you an idea of what your ad, because you may have built this ad and it might look great on the desktop, but when you look at it at mobile, your image may not look right, or it might be cut off. So this just gives you the opportunity to protect yourself. It also gives you the opportunity that if you don't feel like your mobile website is going to do a good job with this traffic, you can remove mobile newsfeed, or if you only want to do a mobile campaign, you could remove desktop if you'd like. Our suggestion is try and make it so that it goes to both, so you don't limit your audience. And again, mobile gets the most traffic, so you want to make sure that it absolutely works within mobile. And then, real simple, last step here is to place your order. So you just hit place order. You've designated when you want it to start. You've designated when you want it to end. And as your campaign runs, you're able to go ahead and watch the analytics and see what kind of engagement you've got. So before I get into some more examples for parts and service, I've got a couple questions here. One of them I'm going to defer to my team back in Atlanta, which is, what if the same person clicks 100 times? Do we have to pay every time? Hillary or Bailey, can you address that one?
Hey, David, this is Erin. That is a good question. One that I may have to follow up on. Facebook tracks unique clicks and then also aggregated clicks, and I'm not 100% sure if you're paying by unique click or total click, but we can follow up after this call in our email with the answer to that question. I don't want to say something that's not correct.
Yeah, we do know that click fraud is something that is monitored by all of the digital providers. And if someone's clicking 100 times, then yes, there's fraud involved. So Erin will follow up, and we will include that in any kind of communication recap from this call. So great question. Another question was, for dealers that offer loyalty cards, would you recommend to have a separate page or offers or coupons that are offered? I would not recommend separate pages. You want to have one Facebook page for the dealership. You do not want to confuse customers as to why there's multiple pages for Facebook. I would recommend that if you have loyalty cards and you have that database of who is in your loyalty program, that's a great file to upload to Facebook to remind those customers about the benefits of servicing with you, remind those customers about the discounts that you offer because they're in the loyalty program, or to schedule an appointment. If you upload that list of who's in your loyalty program, only those people will get that offer or get that message. So it will be specific to them because they're a part of your loyalty program. So that's a great question. One Facebook page for the dealership, but use that list of your loyalty owners and target them directly with a great offer or a reminder as to why they should continue to do service with you. All right, this is our last webinar, and these have been some of the best questions we've gotten. So thank you very much. Love it. So a couple of further ideas. The next slide is going to show you, and it's going to build on the screen another coupon for you for cupcakes, I believe it was. But essentially, parts and service ideas. Send service offers to customers in your database. You guys send out some of the best direct mail that hits the mailbox. You've already created the coupons. There's no reason why that same coupon, maybe it's the tire sale, or maybe it's a brake sale or a battery sale, there's no reason why you can't feature that exact same coupon on Facebook to some of these audiences or to your own database. It's just a great reminder of the offers that you have in the market. And then you can also reach other Toyota owners in your market and let them know why they should service with you. So within Facebook, one of the custom audience options is Polk and DLX data. So essentially, Facebook knows who's registered a Toyota in the geography that you specify. There's a likelihood that that customer did not buy the car from you. So therefore, you can go and serve an ad as the reasons to service with you, or you could serve an ad to specific coupons. That customer did not buy from you, but they're within your geography, so they're likely to service with you. So it's a great way to get customers to come to your service lane that may not have bought from you. A couple of other options for you, a couple other ideas is reminding customers in your database of the benefits of Toyota Care and maybe schedule an appointment online. You can see on the Madison Honda example, they're talking about scheduling service, and you can see one of those call to action buttons we mentioned earlier is book now. So the whole idea here is drive clicks to your online scheduler on your website. We know we all want to get more appointments scheduled. Facebook is a great way of doing that. A couple of more examples that reach maybe within service and a little bit outside of service. One on the left-hand side is about valuing your trade. The one in the middle has great applications for many of our stores in SET with a military presence here in the Southeast. Maybe there's military discounts that you give from a service perspective. And if you don't, it might be something worth considering. And then you could create an ad that goes specific to people who indicate that their career or that their employment is the U.S. Army, the Marines, the Air Force, whatever it might be, whatever base is in your area. You could build the audience based on their employer, share a specific offer to them, and have them go to your scheduler or to redeem that offer. And then the last one is something that also is a great opportunity from a parts and service standpoint. If you're looking for service techs, you're looking for service writers to fill up the service lane with all the influx of customers you're going to get. We want, here's an opportunity is to seek out employment or seek out employees on Facebook. If they've indicated that their employer is maybe a service center or is like a Walmart service or Sears or Jiffy Lube, you could reach out with an ad that talks about why wanting to work at your dealership and that you're looking to hire people. So it's a great opportunity for you to go ahead and seek some new employees through Facebook. So the next slide is going to show you, kind of going back to the question we had earlier about, budget. How many people are you going to reach? So if you've got 20,000 people and you want them to see your ad 1.5 times per week for the entire month, in this case, the example shows $1,000. What this does is this assumes a click-through rate of 1.25%, which is average, and then an average cost per click. So the click-through rate means that customer clicked on the ad. So you're going to get a little bit over 1% of your audience is going to click on the ad, and that the cost per click is 70%. We see that to be average. So in this case, it's going to cost you $1,000. And again, that's for a 20,000 audience 1.5 times over 4 weeks. What I really encourage you to do is get to that budget page after you've built your campaign and start playing with your daily budget and figure out how much you're willing to spend and what your potential reach is in that space. One of the last things I want to talk about before we conclude the call is that, posting to Facebook is important. I talked about it at the beginning of the call to make sure that you guys are working with whomever's controlling your Facebook page to get more service posts included. It's a great idea. You need to do that. But there's also the opportunity for consumers to leave reviews on Facebook, and it's very easy to do, easier than most other review sites. In most cases, customers in your service lounge are on Facebook. If they're on their mobile, it knows that they're sitting inside your dealership. It will tell them, see what other people are saying about your dealership. So if customers are posting reviews about you, you need to be getting alerted of this in almost real time. Because if a customer is not happy and they're letting people know they've been sitting there for 2 hours waiting for their oil change, you're able to respond to say, I'm sorry to hear that this has taken place. I am going to go find out exactly where your car is, and we'll come back and let you know. You can get up, go find a status on their vehicle, go find that individual in your service lane or in your service lounge and let them know exactly what's taking place. Also, if they've left a review after they've left, it's just smart practice to reach out the olive branch and either say thank you or sorry to hear you had this experience. I'm the manager of the department. I'd like to hear more about it because this is not what I expect to hear. Please contact me at and leave either your email address or your dealership phone line, your direct line. So sharing the excitement, encourage next steps. If a customer has come in and they've serviced their vehicle, tell them you're looking forward to seeing them soon. And that's just a great way of going about engaging the service customers who are already likely using your Facebook page. Don't leave Facebook just to the sales side of the house. I really want you guys to step in and find out how you can engage from a service perspective with Facebook. Got a couple of resources for further education for you, but before I talk about those, I just got alerted that Aaron already has an answer for you guys about if a customer clicks over 100 times or clicks the ad more than once, do we have to pay? So Aaron, what do you have for us?
Yep, so we looked into it, and how it works is you're paying for 1 click per impression. So if someone is served the ad and clicks 100 times in that session that they're looking at the ad, you'll only be charged for that first click. But if they are served the ad 2 or 3 times and they click each time that they see it, then those are counted as clicks that you'll pay for. So you'll pay for 2 or 3 clicks. So if they're clicking all at once, then you're only going to pay for that first click. But anytime that they see the ad after that, you'll also be paying for that click.
Great. Perfect answer. Just a couple things to wrap up today, a couple of resources for further education. I mentioned at the beginning of the call, there's facebook.com/blueprint. There's another tool that has even more tutorials on there called facebook.com/business/auto/help. This falls within the Facebook Go platform. So, essentially this will help you fill out, this will help you with more tutorials and give you access to a Facebook manager if you're spending the right amount of budget. So you can either use Blueprint to get all the tutorials. You could use Facebook Go with the address on the screen to get even further help. And then obviously from a resource perspective, you've got, you're going to get the deck, you're going to get a copy of this recording, and you're also going to get a copy of the, of some one-sheeters helping you set up your campaign. And then the final resource that's always available to you guys is reaching out to SCT Marketing, either Julie Tullis or Sarah Barber. And Sarah mentioned her contact information will be at the end of the presentation, so here it is. And then you've got my field team with 22 Squared, so myself, Mark Caputo, or Nick Holliday will be more than happy to help. You can reach out to any one of us. And before I turn it back over to Sarah, you guys have continued to ask some great questions. Are we having another webinar soon? I hate to say it, but this is our last Facebook webinar, but we will be rolling out a number of webinars in the future. The next one is going to be about search engine marketing and some best practices there. So do keep an eye out on that, and we will make sure that the district sales managers and the district fixed ops managers keep you alerted. So thank you, Daniel. If the dealer has a customer lounge Wi-Fi network, is it a good idea to show the dealer Facebook page when they log in for the first time? There's a lot of great ideas on Wi-Fi splash page. So yes, if you want to encourage customers to go to the dealer's Facebook page, then that would be a great place to go if you're adding content. If your dealership is not actively posting to Facebook, then I probably wouldn't send them there. But if you're constantly posting to Facebook, you're doing a great job responding to reviews, and there's a lot of good quality, happy content that's on there, then go ahead and use that as the splash page. And if you would like to do that, a friendly plug from your service, your ISAMs, they can go ahead and help you do that. So if you have any questions, either your district manager or your ISAM will help you get your splash page set up. Thank you, Juan. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Sarah, and we will wrap up.
Thank you, David. So I just want to take a moment to thank all of you for joining us this morning. This went a little longer than we were expecting, but you guys asked some really great questions, so we're happy to see that. We are going to follow up with all of the questions and answers in a document as well, so you can go back and review those. And after this meeting, you will receive an automated email from GoToWebinar, which will prompt you to take a survey. If you could please take a moment, it's just 5 simple little questions. Fill out the survey, let us know what you thought, if you would consider attending more webinars like this in the future. We just want to learn from this and continue to get better with any future webinars. And then keep an eye out for our follow-up email later today with all of the materials. And we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all.